Washington State head swimming coach Russell Whitaker is joins us today after an incredible week at the Mountain West Conference Championships in Houston. Cougs finished fifth, their best finish at a conference championships in program history. Seven titles, five individual titles, and two relays. Coach Whitaker, congrats on a great week. First overall, before we break it down each day, but overall thoughts on the meet at the Mountain West Championships.
Yeah, overall, really happy with how our girls were able to handle that championship meet with the year that we've had. I think it was a really good way to kind of help cap off that year. Obviously we'll get into the specifics, of each day and everything as well. But very happy when you look at where this team was at when we first came in here as a staff and where we've been able to end up with their performances. And again, I think that their hard work as a team, it speaks for itself with what we saw at the Mountain West Championship. So, fifth place overall. We're going to take it this year. I think we all know that we've got a lot more in the tank, though, and we've got some big, lofty goals, especially for next year with not only the girls that are returning. I mean, the vast majority of those girls that were scoring points are returning for this team, but also with this group of freshmen coming in. And so I think that just led more fuel to the fire for this team. We told them that once they get their recovery here for the next couple of weeks and stuff like that, that next season it's already starting for us as well and making sure that we start doing what we need to do, whether that's taking the time for yourself to focus, starting to get back into the pool, one-on-one work with coaches, whatever it's going to take. But we've already kind of got that Mountain West Championship for next year already at the back of our minds of what we need to work towards for that.
Right, you guys traveled down to Houston, and the meet started on a Wednesday with some relays and some diving. But we don't compete in the diving. But the relays, you guys started off with a win, opened the meet with the win, and kind of set the tone early on.
Yeah, that was really exciting. That 200 medley relay, it absolutely did set the tone that night. Getting that first place finish and then obliterating our school record by, it was like a second and a half, 2 seconds in that 200 medley relay, and then also going that NCAA B cut. That was something that I think this team, again, there hasn't been an NCAA B cut in the 8 years that I've been here at Washington State, and I think we'd have to go pretty far back in our history to find that last time if we had gone those B cuts. And so that I think really just showed them again what they were capable of. And it showed them that even though, we're here competing in the Mountain West, that we're still going to be able to swim fast and do whatever we need to do as a team and focus on us. So all of them leading off, everybody on that relay, they did their job. Anna Rockholtz led us off great. You've got Emily Lundgren, who's again always a phenomenal breaststroker. Probably one of the biggest ones that stepped up for us was Addie Lewis. That was really fun to see. And again, just her development and her time at Washington State, but her doing that fly leg for us. And then again, Darcy Revin, I think that's when we knew it was going to be a very exciting meet for that freshman. Darcy dropping a 21.450 free to anchor that relay is just something, it's pretty disgusting split. So we were really happy to see that. And I think, again, that just kind of also for us as coaches, seeing the meet start off on that standpoint, I think just kind of reiterated that, we know what we've been doing here all along and that we were excited just to kind of start watching the show from that point on.
And let's move on to Thursday, the first full day of competition. What kind of stood out there? This is where you guys really made a mark and put up some more big numbers.
Yeah, we started off pretty well with our 500 freestylers. I think that that's an area that has continued to develop really well under Coach Tyler, and she has just done a phenomenal job at continuing to build their confidence and stuff. And so our 500 freestylers, they started us off pretty strong. But again, the 200 IM, watching Emily step up within that, obviously winning that event. And then you had Ashlyn Hernandez as a freshman doing what she needed to get done in that IM. And then the 50 freestyle, yet again, I mean, we had a lot of people really step up. A big one of that was senior Emma Wright, dropping down and going finally under 23 seconds for that. It was a big swim for her. And then Darcy Revitt just throwing down that monster 21, that 21.8 and stuff, just obliterating our school record, putting her definitely into the NCAA championships and everything as well. And so really just, again, another very exciting day of backing it up. And that's what we've continued to say is that swimming, swimming and winning, that's contagious when we do it right. And so that was another great way of how we handled it that second day for us there. And then especially again, that next night doing the 400 medley relay, seeing the results of that relay once again had, the only difference on that was having Doria Thazi swim that butterfly leg. And that race coming down to 100th of a second between us and San Diego State, and just seeing that the grit that those girls had throughout that, and especially Emma Wright finishing that freestyle leg for us. So again, just a lot of great things on that second day to be able to praise this team about, and just very happy to see with where we're at.
And you move on to Friday, and maybe you guys had a number of really good opportunities to make a mark, but maybe left a little bit out there. But another really good day of competition, but just come up short, and things really got heated.
Yeah, that Friday, I think that was where we had talked, and this is still where we're learning as a team, right? We knew that that was a day diving wasn't going to be scored that day, and I had told the team that that was our day to be able to move up. And whether I put too much pressure on them as a coach, I told them that really Friday we had to be perfect. And obviously, I know that perfection that's not really something you can truly ever achieve, is that true perfection. But we needed them to be at their absolute best on that Friday, and unfortunately, we fell a little bit short across our events. Our flyers really didn't show up as strong and as deep as we thought they would. Kind of the same in the 200 free and stuff. I think that day you look at the people that really stepped up. Ariel Wang, I'll be honest, it's probably the swim of the year in my mind, and that's nothing against Darcy or Emily, but Ariel Wang taking down our 400 IM school record, that is such a big swim and a huge moment, and something long time coming for that kid that I was just over the moon excited to be able to see that. So to see that grid of going at best time by like 4 seconds, all of that. And then you still had Emily Lundgren stepping up in the fly events, her and Doria Thazi. But especially watching Ariel Wang step up and do that on that middle day was big. And then our backstrokers, right? That's what we had told everybody else as well. All of our 100 backstrokers, they did what they needed to do. And so that I think was a big learning moment for this team, right? We see, all these titles that we're getting, but again, that's not going to lead us to a Mountain West team championship. It's going to take all of our 18 athletes at that meet scoring and doing their job. And so I think, unfortunately, we had to learn again a lesson the hard way on Friday of what happens when we don't buckle down and do what we need to do in the morning. And we saw that we didn't have as many people swimming at night as we wanted. And that definitely did impact us at the end of the meet. And we did have a chat, at the hotel and making sure that they understood of, hey, this is kind of where we're realistically at, right? We're not going to take the pedal off, and it showed again on that last day, but this is something that we need to make sure that we fix next year. And already as a staff, making sure that we go, how do we address making sure that we started off strong, but we make sure that third day is going to be our best day next year.
And then you look into the final day on Saturday where you guys kind of closed the meet in style. San Diego State got to celebrate, but it was a pretty good show by Washington State on Saturday. Kind of a true testament to your team kind of bouncing back and closing with a big finish.
Yeah, really good swims across the board, opening up with the mile at the end of by the end of that, Coach Tyler, again, she's done an amazing job with that group. Getting 3 kids into the top 8 of that mile was a big thing for us. Austin Pilato, again, with our sprinters, you could see it, especially in the 100 freestyle. That was another good day for us. And then, you got Darcy Revitt winning the 100 free. You've got Emily Lundgren winning the 200 breaststroke, and then you've got Doria Thazi winning the 200 butterfly. So that last day, that was a big day for us with Washington State. I think taking those titles and everything but the 200 back, and then that 400 free relay at the end of the meet and stuff like that. So really, again, just overall very proud with our girls. I mean, you look at the number of school records that went down this year. I think it was a total of about 13 school records. This is the first year that every single relay record has been broken between mid-season and conference and all of that. And so again, just very, very excited for the results that we had. And I think, again, this was just another for our girls to prove themselves right, like they've been doing this year, but just knowing that we still have a lot more that we need to get done if we're going to make a shot at that Mountain West championship next year.
And then you mentioned a couple of those names throughout the week. Each day they did something pretty special. And after the meet, it may be a little bit telling. Again, San Diego State won the meet, so we'll credit them. But Washington State kind of took the awards. Emily Lundgren, the swimmer of the meet, the second most points, and then freshman Darcy Revitt, coach freshman swimmer of the meet. Pretty impressive. Fifth place Washington State takes home the 2 big awards.
Yeah, we were really excited and happy to see that. And I think it also just goes to show that, their hard work is recognized by other coaches. That's something that's not like it's just see who scores the most points, right? That was voted on by the coaches and by our peers and everything. And so that was really impactful and meaningful to be able to see that and for our athletes to be able to have that recognition. I mean, Emily Lundgren, we say it all the time, but she's a coach's dream. She's going to do what she asks. She's going to put her head down. She's going to work. And even then, this meet showed it, right? This was a first time she's not done the 100 breaststroke at a meet. And, whether at the end of the day, that's something that I'm going to reflect on as a coach. But her doing the 100 fly over one of her favorite events that's what we needed her to do in that moment. And she's willing to sacrifice that, right? Willing to take away potential another school record for that 100 breast, a conference title in that, and doing what we asked. And so really, I think that speaks to her character for her to be the swimmer of the meet and stuff as well. And then Darcy Revitt, being elected the co-freshman of the meet again just shows that her level of commitment as well. And she's going to have some great races, right? There was, Macy Hansen from Wyoming was the other freshman of the meet. And, that's going to be somebody else that's going to be joining Darcy at the NCAA championships in the mile. Dave Deniston's done an amazing job with that University of Wyoming team, and especially looking not only just at Macy Hansen, but some of these other freshmen that are within the Mountain West Conference and everything as well. It's going to be a very exciting environment, and just really excited to continue to see that development for this team and everything as well. But very special for them to get that recognition. I know they were very excited for it. Again, San Diego State jumping in, and for Mike Schrader to do a four-peat with his team. All the best and all the congratulations to Mike as well. He's been an amazing mentor for me ever since I've been here at Washington State, and even this past year. And so be remiss to say I'm not excited for Mike as well. He's deserved it, and he's earned it very much as well, through respect that he's garners with not only the coaches, but obviously with his team as well. And so it was really special to be able to see him share that moment with his team.
The last two things we'll cover, then we'll let you guys get back to training for the NCAA championships. But pretty incredible year, first week, first year, and first year at the Mountain West Conference Championships. But for you and your new coaching staff, how was the environment down there at the University of Houston, hosted by the Mountain West?
Yeah, it was an amazing student athlete experience. Mountain West, I think they absolutely crushed it, right? From just the recognition of the athletes when it comes to getting the awards with their podium, their walking out, and just the overall. There was a conference championship vibe, but it was also like a sense of fun, right? There didn't seem to be, I don't know, explain. There didn't seem to be that pressure. I think it allowed for the athletes to unwind and to truly just be able to focus on their swims, right? Everybody was competing for their placing, but there was just something that was just very different about the atmosphere that was created about the Mountain West that I do think took a lot of pressure off of our athletes compared to even the Pac-12, and even just historically where we would place in the Pac-12. I think that this just showed just a really good dedication to them and making sure that student athlete experience, it was met, and just something that I'm very appreciative about. And I made sure to make sure that, Macy Gilliland and her staff, that they were aware of that. Once the meet was done, I made sure to absolutely say thank you, because it was a very amazing job on their end. I don't think people recognize the amount of work that support staff do behind the scenes. And, I think me being married to a support staff member here in athletics, it does open your eyes and get to see a lot of what they do, and especially what Macy and her staff did behind the scenes to make that an amazing atmosphere and environment for our student athletes. It was just incredible.
And then finally, the fun question that we get to ask: what's next? There's some big things coming for Cougar Swimming here in the coming weeks. Expected to have a couple of NCAA selections, and hopefully more than two. But what's next for Cougar Swimming? The NCAA Championships, hosted by Washington State in Federal Way in mid-March. But what's next for Cougar Swimming? What are you guys expecting? Hoping for good news next week.
Yeah, really hoping to see, right? I think we're pretty confident that Emily Lundgren and Darcy Revitt are going to be selected to the NCAA championship. And then Doria Thazi, she's going to be right on the bubble. I think it is going to be a very close year. I do think there's a pretty high chance she's going to be the first in or the first out when it comes to that 200 fly. And it speaks to, I think, the depth also of the NCAA, how much faster every single event is getting. And so this is going to be a historically fast meet. I mean, just across the board, every single event, it's not like it's been a little bit quicker. They've all gotten drastically quicker. And so I think that that's a testament to Washington State to have two in the meet for sure right now. And then, to get that third, that would be a big thing for us. I mean, we haven't had three since, I feel like it's been 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. So that would just be another big, I think, milestone for us as a program if we can make that work. So right now, we've got them in the pool waiting to see what the selection does come out to be. And then just got a couple other things here and there. We've got a couple internationals that'll have their national championships for their respective countries coming up. So see if we also can't get a few athletes selected for the World University Games and other stuff. And so, obviously kind of spread out, very sporadic this time of year when it does come to swimming, but just very excited for what we've got in store for Washington State swimming.
All right, Washington State head coach Russell Whitaker talking about the Cougs' seven individual titles, or seven titles at the Mountain West Championships. Excuse me, five individuals, two relays, swimmer of the meet, co-freshman of the meet, and the season will continue at the NCAA Championships in a couple weeks. So, congrats, Coach Whitaker! Impressive first season, and we're going to keep going.
Perfect. Thanks, Bobby. Go Cougs.